Welcome to the Rosewater demo. The demo is a work in progress. Rosewater features multiple paths and puzzle solutions, so if you get stuck, there may be another approach. Thanks for playing and enjoy. Welcome. Thanks for having us play. It is October 2022 Next Fest. We're just gonna roll right into it. I know I could have clicked how to play, but that's just the easy way. The town of Rosewater. 1850.
Huh. Quiet.
Howdy, ma'am. Allow me to extend the warmest of welcomes on behalf of the town of Rosewater and its inhabitants. Folks call me Jem. And who do I have the honor of greeting?
Harley Leger.
Delighted to make your acquaintance. Might I assist you with your luggage? That is, if you've got any.
I don't.
Ah, right. Well, what brings you to our fair town, Mrs. Leger?
Miss, and I'm here about a job.
Planning on sticking around, huh? Say, what line of work are you in?
If you must know, well, I write. There's an opening at the Rosewater Post.
Well, best of luck with that. The editor at that place ain't somebody you want to cross.
Then we ought to get along fine.
I'm sure you will. But as official town greeter, allow me to offer a small caution. Rosewater ain't always such a sleepy little town.
Hey!
Say, I've just remembered another engagement.
This how you welcome new arrivals? I have a mind to give you a thrashing. All right, enough of that. Look, I was no choir girl. But I at least had some brains. Word of advice, kid, don't pick your mark in broad daylight, especially not at a lawman's doorstep. Go on, beat it, or I really will give you something to cry about. Now, where in the ether is that damn publisher's office?
I feel like I'm being followed. Oh.
Hello, can I help you with something?
I'm here about the writing commission.
Ah, yes, you must be Miss Leger. I believe you and Joni exchanged some correspondence on the matter already, yes?
Yep, got the letter right here.
May I see it, please?
October 25th, 1850. Dear Miss Leger, thank you for submitting your sample. Your writing shows real potential. I'd like to extend an invitation to meet with me at the offices of the Rosewater Post and discuss the possibility of an extended commission. How soon can you arrive in town? I await your reply and look forward to making your acquaintance. Yours, Joan Gallagher.
Very good. Oh, one more thing. Joni's not one for formalities. First names will do.
Noted.
Go up those stairs and knock.
Thanks. What's your name?
Henry Dixon, ma'am. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Likewise. Come in. Hello, Joan. I'm Harley Leger. Ah, yes. Nice to finally put a face to the name. Please, take a load off. Whiskey? Bit early for me, but thanks all the same. Sensible. I like that. I, however, have had a morning, so if you don't mind. Say, have we met before? Something about you seems familiar. I don't believe so, no. Well, let's get down to the meat and potatoes, shall we? If you're gonna join our little family here, I'd like to know more about you. Me? Well, I was born and raised in New Britannia, got out, made my way west, and started writing. I saw your ad while I was up in Pierre. Thought a change of scenery would do me good. Well, admittedly, Rosewater isn't as cosmopolitan as it used to be. But maybe you'll find it to your liking. There hasn't been a dull moment since I stepped off the train. Speaking of, your writing sample had me in stitches. I haven't spent much time in Lamplight City myself, but your descriptions of the toffs in Leon, hilarious. That piece was inspired by my last visit a few years ago, actually. Oh? What brought that about? I had to go back and settle my late brother's affairs. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope it wasn't in connection with that awful business at the Lamplight City Expo. Oh, no, it was before that. The Expo disaster was a national tragedy, of course. But, you know, I can't help remembering it as the week our paper sold more copies than it has before or since. Isn't that terrible? But enough about that. Let's get back to why we're here. I loved your sample. And I like you as well, Harley. So I'm going to go ahead and offer you a commission. I'll pay you 45 crowns for it. After that, we can talk about more regular opportunities. Fantastic! So, what's my assignment? A scathing commentary on Rosewater's decline? Or maybe a hard-hitting expose on the plight of the marginalized criminal youth? Oh, no, nothing like that. I want you to interview Gentleman Jake Ackerman. Who? Pull the other one. Have you been living under a rock? He's a true Western legend. The Achilles of our times. We've got a real opportunity here. A star like that landing in our little town. I'd like something in the vein of your sample. Acerbic and mordant, but maybe not quite so acerbic. So, a puff piece. Good. You're paying attention. I want you to make Rosewater look good too. Show me a real frontier hero in a real frontier town. Where can I find this Jake fellow? He's taken rooms at the Jack of Diamonds just down the road. And his show is opening today at the Opera House, so he should be around for an interview. I don't know how you're situated here, but you're welcome to use the typewriter in the office. I only write longhand, but I'd certainly be grateful for a quiet place to work. Longhand! How charming. Now, if you have any questions before you go, by all means, ask. The Rosewater Post reported on the Lamplight City Expo. It was only the biggest story that year. I've still got copies of the article saved. Here, read it for yourself.
Disaster at Lamplight City Expo. An etheric pavilion at the Global Exposition in New Bregton, Kingsland, was the site of a terrifying disaster that claimed 15 lives on Saturday. During a demonstration by researcher Dr. Bennett Clark, a device known as a etheric generator malfunctioned and released a burst of energy into the audience, instantly vaporizing 14 attendees and one stage assistant. An eyewitness described the scene for the New Brighton Gazette. The thing started up with a great crackling noise, starting the ladies in attendance and raising several cries of excitement. In the next instant, there was a blinding flash of light. After that, it was just screams and a horrible burning smell. From where I stood, I could see that a bunch of folks gathered to the one side of the apparatus were just gone. All that was left were shoes and hats and things in a pile of ash. And the worst thing was, their shadows were still there on the wall behind. A controversial figure in the scientific community, Dr. Clark has championed novel theories on the existence of ethrocity a supposedly inexhaustible source of energy located in the upper atmosphere. The Etheric Pavilion, an exhibit jointly sponsored by Kesling Industries, Harmon and Grove, and Eastern Consolidated Coal, was intended to show the technology's potential before a global audience. Although public enthusiasm may be somewhat dampened following the events last weekend. Dr. Clark was taken in for questioning by authorities, but it remains to be seen whether he or any of his sponsors will be held legally responsible for the lives lost in that accident. PM calls for etheric ban. Prime Minister Hartley Leger wasted no time in condemning the Lamplight City Expo disaster, and called on Parliament to expose a ban on the research. Despite predictable opposition from the Atwood wing, MPs may be more receptive to Leroy's proposal in the wake of the disaster. A vote is expected to be called in the coming weeks. Supporters of Clark's research insist that an isolated incident does not invalidate the potential benefits of the technology, but public opinion may be tipping in favor of the ban.
Can I keep frame it? What about the folks who stayed behind? What about them? I was hoping for more details. As far as you're concerned, the only person in Rosewater worth knowing right now is Jake Ackerman. If you're so keen to get to know about the rest, go meet him for yourself. I'd best be on my way. Right you are. Wait a minute. What? It's just come to me. I know why you look familiar. You're Spitfire Harley. Goodness. It's been a long time since anyone called me that. I saw you fighting back in 26 at Wellesley Hall in the Chum. You took out a brute twice your size with a right hook. Pow! It was like watching David bring down Goliath. I appreciate the kind words, but that was another life. Maybe so, but for a 14-year-old kid fresh off the boat, it was pretty damn inspirational. Thanks, Joan. Appreciate it. Of course. And please, call me Joni.
Well, that cutoff was
See you later, Joni.
unfortunate.
Take care of yourself out there.
I'm not sure if that was the timer on the demo and I was just reading too slow.
Spitfire Harley writing for my paper. Now don't that just beat all?
Well, he picked himself up off the floor.
Was your meeting satisfactory, ma'am?
Quite so. Did you find any of those butterscotch sweets I asked for?
Afraid not. Only taffy and some peppermints.
Pity. This place seems to lack even the smallest of pleasures. Shall we?
Excuse me, kid. I need to get upstairs.
I'm really sorry, miss, but Mr. Ackerman's not taking any more meetings right now.
I'm here on behalf of the Rosewater Post.
Did you make an appointment?
No, I just got the assignment.
Okay. Look, Mr. Ackerman's upstairs getting ready for his show. It starts in less than an hour. Why don't you come by and watch? You can come meet him afterwards.
I just need to interview him for a newspaper article.
Well, now, that's perfect. If you're going to write about him, you should definitely see the show. Trust me, it's a real dazzler.
Suppose it beats waiting around here. Now that is mighty tempting. Food delivery for the lazy. These seem to be for decoration more than anything else.
The eyeball is a bit terrifying, I'm not gonna lie.
The local populace getting sloshed. You again?
Oh, hey, Harmony, was it?
Harley. What in the ether are you doing here?
Oh, you're not still sore about earlier.
Nah, but your little friend might think twice about hoodwinking strangers again.
Look, nothing personal. My brother and me are just doing our best to get by.
Your brother? And you just strolled away? I ought to knock you into a cocked hat.
Hey, you gotta look out for number one.
You picked the wrong mark, but I can let that go. Hell, with a little effort, you two could be halfway decent grifters. But if there's one thing turns my stomach, it's disloyalty. That's your flesh and blood. If you don't have your own brothers back, who else on this wretched earth is going to give a flip if you're alive or dead?
You made your point. Now can we drop it already? I'm trying to do an actual legitimate job here.
Legitimate job? So you're not selling snake oil or stock tips or fire insurance?
Nah, nothing like that. I'm selling tickets to Gentleman Jake's legendary Wild West show. Only 20 coppers.
I'll take one of those tickets.
Swell! And when would you like to come see the show?
Whenever it starts?
Oh, you mean today? Well, I'm afraid I gotta disappoint you there. Sold the last of today's tickets not 10 minutes before you walked up.
Seriously?
Seriously, this ain't exactly the Coliseum. It only fits so many, and folks around here are real excited to see Gentleman Jake in person.
Alright, look. I don't need to see some yahoo firing off his pea shooter. I just want to talk to this Jake fellow.
And I'm sure Gentleman Jake would be happy to meet you if you had a ticket to get in. Course, I might be able to sneak you in quiet-like, but I'd be putting my job on the line, and I can't afford to lose it now. After all, I have my little brother to look after.
Just tell me what you want.
Only a small favor.
Spit it out.
Just help me retrieve something, a small item of great personal value. It's only my pa's pocket watch, family heirloom, you see.
What happened to it?
It was stolen is what? By that one-eyed scalawag Lola Johnson. Probably stashed it away in the old smithy. She's been squatting in there for weeks now.
You said you and your brother needed money. How about 2 crowns?
Well now, that's mighty kind of you. But this don't change the deal.
Why, you little bastard.
You want in, you gotta do me that favor.
Where'd your brother get to? Keeping out of trouble?
Matter of fact, he's trying to make good after that screw-up earlier. Decided he's gonna try and get Pa's watch back all by himself. He's real tore up over losing it.
And you're letting him risk his neck again? He'll be collared in no time. Like as not, you'll never see him again.
Oh, I know. I tried talking sense into him, but he's dead set on it. Wants to prove himself. But he'll be in real hot water if he gets caught, which he probably will. That's why I'm asking you to do it before he goes and does something stupid. I can tell you could pull it off. No problem.
That kid deserves better than getting strung up for doing your dirty work. Call him off. I'll handle it.
Swell. You know where to find me.
Feel like I was played, but that's okay.
Looks sturdy, but there's some rot creeping around the handles. This padlock's not going anywhere. Not without encouragement. Too bad I didn't bring my lockpicks. Or a hammer.
The shrug. Alright, fair enough.
Oh, hello there. Don't think I've seen you around before.
Just arrived in town. Name's Harley Leger. And you're Dr. Sedgwick?
At your service. Welcome to Rosewater and to my clinic. If there's something ailing you, you'll have to take a seat. My hands are a bit full right now.
That's all right. I was just looking around.
Oh, that's a relief. I'll be occupied with my patient a while. Had a nasty fall from the Rosewater Post's second floor window. Never a dull moment around here.
Medical College of Wicks? Never heard of it.
It's in central Rotterdam. Not quite the University of New Britannia, but then what is?
Well, that's just disgusting.
Not disgusting, it's fascinating, awe-inspiring.
To each his own.
By the way, I should mention this is set into an alternate reality. It's not the U.S. as we know it. I don't know what to do. Maybe the sheriff's office? Building we haven't been into. The physician.
Howdy, stranger. Fresh off the train?
Yes, sir.
Come on in then. Let's have a chat. I'm Sheriff Gamble.
Harley Leger.
Pleasure. Just passing through, or?
I'm here about a job.
Well now, that's refreshing. Few come to Rosewater these days with the intent of staying long. How are you finding our town?
I can't say much for the welcoming committee.
Beg pardon?
I wasn't in your town but 2 minutes when I was accosted by a pair of gutter snipes. They should thank their lucky stars I was in a good mood.
Dang it. I keep telling Jim to stop with that town greeter malarkey, but that boy's got a head harder than granite. I've been too soft. I ought to throw him in lockup until he gets his head on straight.
Trust me, that'll only make things worse. Besides, I don't think they've yet written a statute outlawing vexatiousness.
You've a forgiving nature, Miss Leger. Anyhow, welcome to Rosewater. If you run into any more trouble, come and see me.
Those are some stern-looking ladies. Hey, Sheriff?
Ma'am?
Who are the people in this photo?
Those are my sisters, Lord bless them. Beulah's a real firebrand. She'd smack you across the face soon as look at you. She did to me plenty. Reba married an oil man. I think they're living in some big mansion on the coast somewhere. Sadie died a few months after this picture was taken. I'm grateful to have this to remind me of her smile.
Not a bad view. Hey, Sheriff?
Yes, ma'am?
What's this photo of?
That's a view of Colchester, where I grew up.
It's like bad that he has to stand up and come talk to me.
My folks still have a ranch there. Been meaning to pay him a visit. The winters were so cold, people's sentences would hang in the air for days. All things considered, I still do miss the place.
Looks like a pretty rough sort. This fellow still at large?
Yep, but I reckon he's left the province.
Reminder, confiscated items to be placed in the box below. A plain leather bag. Wonder what's inside. What's in the bag?
Oh, that's a set of lockpicks I confiscated from a would-be burglar.
Ah.
I wouldn't have figured the sheriff for a naturalist. A lawman with a license? Guess Rosewater isn't so uncivilized after all. Doesn't look too comfy, but I guess that's the point. Hey, Sheriff?
What can I do you for?
Just how long have you been the sheriff here anyway?
Oh, couple years now. Like most everyone else, I came to Rosewater in '48, when we thought the hills were full of Orem. Except I stayed when it turned out they weren't.
You were a prospector?
Yep. But it turns out lawman was a more stable career.
A man in your position must have plenty to say about the town he serves.
Suppose that's true. But a stroll down Main will tell you most everything you need to know.
What's the story with Gentleman Jake?
Which one? If even half of them are true, he's a lion among men, a real Western hero. But you can catch his show while he's in town and hear it straight from the source.
I saw a lady coming out of the saloon earlier. She was older, fancy looking, sounded old country. Any idea who that is?
Can't say it rings any bells. Wonder what someone like that'd be doing in Rosewater.
Were you aware that a man was thrown from the window at the Rosewater Post?
Is that right? Who was it?
Never saw him before. Looked New Spanish.
Is he alive?
Yes, he's in Doc Sedgwick's care.
Well, that's good. Sounds like I need to have words with Joni, though.
Thanks for the chat, Sheriff.
Come back anytime.
I'm gonna guess I have to distract him to get the lockpicks. That's what we gotta do.
Hello again.
He doesn't look half bad, all things considered.
No, he was lucky. Once I'm done here and the laudanum wears off, he should be right as rain.
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, I wouldn't try talking to him just now, Miss Leger. I gave him a mild narcotic to numb the pain. He'll be out of sorts for a while.
What's in the pouch?
Oh, just some supplies for house calls and emergencies.
I hope that isn't the town water supply. Soft drink crates. A sugary, fizzy way to beat the heat. Nothing inside but a colony of ants. Shame. I could go for a sarsaparilla. If I use my bare hands, the only thing I'll get is a broken wrist. But if I use something heavy...
actually. Check out. Sneaky suspicion.
This thing's heavier than it looks. Bet I could do some real damage with. I could easily smash this rotten bit of wood and get the lock off, but I'd better wait until the coast is clear. I could. That did it. The tile's no good anymore, though. Did the blacksmith dabble as a Wainwright? Maybe the kid's watch is in there. Seems the obvious place to keep valuables. Just worthless trinkets. Decorative or a functional hiding place? Empty. Absolutely nothing. Well now, what have we here? Got what I came for. Best not to stick around.
What in the ether is going on here?
You must be Lola Johnson.
That's right, Lola Johnson, who lives here.
You live here, do you? Technically, I think the word you're looking for is squatting.
And technically, what you're doing is trespassing.
I'll be going.
You do that.
Fancy. Too bad there doesn't seem to be a pawn shop in town. Here's your watch back.
No fooling. You actually got it?
By a whisker. Lola turned up just as I was leaving.
Did she see you take it?
Don't think so. Anyways, that's my part of the bargain held up. You gonna let me in now?
Sure, go on. Oh, and thanks. I know we've had our tiffs, but I really do appreciate you getting this for me. My dear departed pa can rest easy again knowing his watch is back where it belongs.
That's not your watch at all, is it?
Well, it is now.
Kid, if I were you, I'd make myself scarce. Otherwise, the only way you'll be able to tell the time on that thing is by squatting over a mirror. You get me?
Yes, ma'am.
Knew it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, are you ready for some thrills? Are you ready for some excitement? Are you ready for some fun? Then without further ado, now present the star of our show, the last man standing at the Bleachbone Gulch Showdown, the only man to defeat bastard Billy Boakes in a duel, the man who discovered a gentleman, then gifted it to an orphanage, Gentleman Jake Ackerman! Yahoo!
Thank you, Charlie, for that wonderful introduction. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Gentleman Jake's Wild West. We got a heck of a performance for you today, but first, allow me to introduce my brave and loyal assistant, Danny Luo. Now let's get this show on the road. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you rope a steer. Keep it going, Danny. Maybe you'll lasso yourself one someday.
The sun beat down upon them as the duelists stood and stared. But Billy Boakes had never fought somebody so prepared. Jake drew his gun, and bang! The bastard crashed down with a thud. The legendary foe lay dead, defeated, in the mud.
And now for a most challenging proposition, perhaps the greatest feat of marksmanship to which a man can set his sights. You see those 5 juggling balls that Charlie keeps whirling aloft in such a dizzying display? Ladies and gentlemen, affix your eyes on that green ball in particular, and do not dare blink. For with but a single bullet, I will pluck it from the very air. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our show. Thank you all so much. You've been a truly magnanimous, magnificent, and majestic audience.
And you can take home a piece of the legend. Come on down to the Jack of Diamonds to get an autograph or a souvenir ferrotype. We'll be there until last call. Stop by and shake hands with Gentleman Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, good night.
Well, that was a show.
I'm telling you, Jake, I need that money tonight.
You knew the deal going in, Charlie. There's nothing I can do about it.
We'll see about that.
Hope I'm not interrupting, gentlemen.
My friend here was just saying his farewells. Weren't you, Charlie? Please do pardon that unpleasant display. What can I do for you, my dear?
Name's Harley Leger. I'd like to interview you for the Rosewater Post.
Well, shucks, it would be my pleasure, Miss Leger. Shall we go upstairs to my room? Beats standing out here in the dust.
Lead on.
Miss Leger, permit me to introduce my associate, Danny Luo.
We've met, actually. Not formally, I suppose. Nice to properly make your acquaintance, Miss Leger.
Likewise, Mr. Luo.
Please, you can call me Danny. Everybody does.
So what did you think of the show? Pretty spectacular, huh?
Yes, that's definitely the word for it.
I'm glad you think so. Shall we proceed with the interview?
Right. How did you come to pick Rosewater as your latest venue?
Simple. Plenty of folk in this town are looking for a good show. I ain't so hoity-toity as to think El Presidio or Los Virgenes are the only places worth visiting. After spending all day bent double over a pan in a creek or working his keister off down in a mine, a man is entitled to some amusement, wouldn't you say?
What's something nobody knows about you? Give me something juicy.
I'm something of an open book, Miss Leger. Keeping secrets ain't really my modus operandi.
Come on, everyone's got secrets.
Oh, I think you'll find I'm not like most folk.
So what do you do when you're not gunslinging or adventuring?
Well, you were at the show. You saw it firsthand.
Right, but what about hobbies? Pastimes?
Well, I ain't the type to sit around reading novels, if that's what you're getting at. I'm a man of action.
Danny, you're Gentleman Jake's closest associate. I'd like to hear your perspective.
Me? But I thought this interview was with Mr. Ackerman.
Oh, go on, Danny boy. Tell the lady what you think of old Jake.
Well, Mr. Ackerman's been very kind to take me under his wing. He's taught me loads about showmanship and being brave. Really, I couldn't ask for a better mentor.
Aw, hell. You're gonna make me blush.
Hey, Jake, don't you have an appointment with Miss Sally this evening?
Damn, you're right. Sorry to cut things short, Miss Leger. I've got another engagement I need to prepare for.
I should have plenty for my article. I appreciate your time.
Well, I look forward to reading your story in the next edition. Danny, see the lady out, would you?
Good meeting you, Danny. Guess I'll see you around. Not to worry, gents. Jake's all yours. Hey, you were in the show. Nice juggling.
Thank you, ma'am. Jake, get your ass out here right now, you four-flusher.
Now, what's all the ruckus?
Don't play the fool with me, Ackerman. You know damn well why I'm here. You might think you can give me the runaround, but I wonder if my friends here won't convince you to pay up.
Charlie, Charlie, Charlie. Didn't anybody ever tell you only cowards get others to solve their problems for them?
You slum-guzzling bastard. I'm gonna fix that wobbling jaw of yours.
Come on up here, then.
You sure you won't reconsider, Charlie?
Shut the hell up and get out of my way. McGuire, take care of the kid. Let's dance, cowboy. I suggest you clear out while you can, little lady. This could get ugly.
From where I'm standing, it's pretty damn ugly already. Hey!
So that's how you want it, huh? Fine. I'll let the boss deal with you when he's done. We can do this all day. Hey, don't start any trouble, lady.
You call that a right hook? I've seen pregnant cows more graceful than you. Hey, pick on someone your own size. I've seen pregnant cows more graceful than you.
Give him a new face.
Hey, pick on someone your own size.
Hey! Don't start any trouble, lady.
Whoopsie daisy.
Okay, let's take the bottle. And select.
Not the most honorable way of winning a fight, but these boys were hardly playing fair.
Hey, Charlie, looks like you guys weren't as tough as you hoped.
Whoo-wee! That got the old blood pumping.
You've got some interesting associates, Mr. Ackerman. If you'll excuse me, I have an article to write.
Hang on just a minute. I'd be a fool to just let you walk away after that performance. Come on back up here. I've got a business proposition that may interest you.
What about Miss Sally?
Oh, she can wait. All right, Miss Leger, I won't beat around the bush. Danny and I are looking to get some folks together for a job, and I think you'd make a damn fine addition to the team.
What sort of job?
Ever hear of Dr. Bennett Clark?
Of course. The etheric researcher. What about him?
Dr. Clark moved out here not long after the big disaster back in Lamplight City. He kept up his research, even did some demonstrations at the Opera House. Till one day, he just up and vanished. Nobody's seen hide nor hair of him in nearly a year.
Okay, so get to the point already.
We're going in search of Dr. Clark's fortune.
Come again?
The feller was loaded. Somehow he managed to talk a bunch of big money investors from back east into financing his research. All those gizmos and doodads don't come cheap, you know? We find his stash, we'll all be rolling in it for years to come.
Stash? What stash? Surely it's all just numbers on a ledger somewhere.
Nope, I'm telling you, he kept his assets in cold, hard cash.
So you're looking to rob a man blind just because nobody knows where he is?
Now, nothing so uncouth as that. Picture this. A swashbuckling pirate captain, his vessel freighted with treasure. The vast fleets of law and order circling him, closing in. He digs a hole in the sands of some sun-kissed tropical beach to conceal his ill-gotten loot and makes himself scarce. Circumstance conspires to deprive him of the opportunity to return. Now, is the brave treasure hunter who seeks and unearths the bounty guilty of robbery? Or is he just returning to the world what would otherwise lie forgotten and worthless? See, we're not after Clark's personal wealth. The money in question was meant to bankroll his etheric research. Since that's been outlawed, he can't touch it. And it's a drop in the ocean for the investors. They'll never miss it.
How many folks are you planning on bringing into this?
That depends on what we find. But I promise you, we'll all get a fair split, enough to make it all worthwhile.
What's your plan?
Clark had a lab nearby, a couple miles outside of town. Last place anybody saw him. We poke around there, retrace his steps, and it should lead us straight to the loot.
Uh-huh.
Now, call me crazy, but I get the impression you're not entirely convinced.
Truth be told, I'm not. Assuming this fortune even exists, which it probably doesn't, how do I know you won't just leave me for dead and take it all for yourself?
I admit we're asking you to put a lot of faith in us. Hell, I'd probably be just as incredulous were I in your position.
Mr. Ackerman's a good man, Miss Leger. He's never led me astray in all the time I've known him.
I appreciate it, Danny, but I think Miss Leger's gonna need a little more than just your word. Look, I've known quite a few moneyed folk in my time. They all got one thing in common. You know what that is?
They couldn't give a rat's ass about folks like you and me?
I admit I cannot emphatically contradict you there, but not what I meant.
So what do they have in common?
They're good at keeping their money safe. Clark's cash is out there. I just know it. As far as your safety, you just took out a couple of brutes twice our size. It's plain to see you can take care of yourself.
I'm pretty good with my pistols, and Mr. Ackerman can talk his way out of anything, but we could use somebody who's good in a fight.
Besides, stick around old Jake long enough and you'll have enough material to write a whole book. Forget a measly little write-up in the local rag. I'm offering you a front row seat to a much better show. So, what do you say?
All right, Mr. Ackerman. I'm in. At the very least, this venture should make for an interesting tale.
I'm pleased to hear you say that.
You won't regret this, Miss Leger.
We'll set out for the lab at daybreak. And please, call me Jake.
Oh, and that's the end of the demo. Thanks for playing the Rosewater demo. The adventure continues soon. Join the posse. Thanks, guys, for keeping me company, and I'll be back soon with another demo.